Hello, welcome to Conversations with Malik. I'm here with my good friend Al Johnson, the artist, and I'm so excited and happy to be here. It's been a long time coming. There's been some obstacles trying to get me from getting here, but I finally we're here in North Philly, and we're here in his illustrious studio where miracles and dreams are fulfilled. And we're gonna have the unveiling of my painting that he has for me.
Oh yeah.
Later on, but we'll get to that. How you doing, brother Al?
Good.
Yeah. Al Johnson, the artist, cups too, by the way. We gotta get some cups for the show. Oh, good coffee too. What's this? Bustelo?
Yes.
Oh, see, I know Bustelo when I taste it. Coffee Addicts Incorporated. All right, so we're gonna take y'all through great interview. Stay tuned, wonderful story. Stay tuned. Yeah, so we're here, and you've been sending me pictures, teasing me pictures of this room. I'm riding around in my car, stopping, and I'm looking at the text messages. I guess you were kind of saying this is what it's gonna be like when you get here.
No, I just wanted to give you a taste of my space. That's all.
Taste of your space.
Yeah.
See, it's old school, cool. You just put the words together, taste of my space.
Well, back in the day, a taste of the space meant something else. But
I guess we see where that's going. Interpretation of expression. So we're here, and so when I see all of this, I say to myself, how did all of this get started? What piqued your interest? You have a wonderful story about how you got started into almost near-death life experience.
Right.
That really was the preface to where we are now.
Right.
What piqued your interest?
Well, my parents and the elders used to say to a child who has this wonderment of like touching things, to go someplace and be still. And in my stillness is where I found that it would be interesting to do, to just that was my way of unwinding my mind.
Because children are supposed to be seen, not heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as a child, I didn't know anything about being an artist. I didn't know what that meant. And truly, my parents have been very supportive to me. But they didn't know anything about, well, let me go get him a sketch pad and some pencils,
Yeah.
So often I would find myself, if I had a pencil and if there was a book nearby, because books usually have a sleeve page that is blank.
That's true.
That's my scope. That's my.
At least a lot of the old school books did.
Yeah. I constantly found myself, with my head on the table, like most kids, looking at my hand and looking at what my hand is doing and creating.
Right.
And that's pretty much where it started.
And so you convinced your mother to let you walk to school one day.
Yes, that's the other part. Yeah, I should mention. I was hit by a car crossing the street, and I ended up in the hospital for 11 days. And while I was in the hospital, I got a hold of the nurse's clipboard, and I turned the pieces of paper over, and I just started doodling and drawing.
Right.
I would draw things like cars. I would draw things like action characters. I would draw even some of the nurses and the doctors, just to impress them, because they were saying, this guy's got something special here because he can actually draw.
And 11 days of all time to be in the hospital.
Yeah, and
just hospitals are boring. There's
yeah,
nothing to do.
Laying in that bed while they were observing me, because that's what it was. They wanted to understand like how this kid could survive a 44-mile-an-hour car hit.
Wow.
Like the car hit me, and he didn't put the brakes on until after he hit me.
Whoa. Yeah, so it wasn't like a
No.
boom.
No.
It was like a boom.
It was a boom, and
Then a
and then the screech.
wow.
Yeah. So it knocked me up, and then I landed, and I rolled. And as I rolled on the street, and when I finally got up, everything was moving to the right, even though my body wanted to go to the left. Everything was moving to the right.
Equilibrium.
That's right.
Oh.
All right. So in any case, I mean, it was there in that hospital where they discovered, hey, this guy's an artist. Look at him. Look at him. And he's 8 years old, and he's, so they let me, tack all my drawings up on the wall and so forth. And through counseling, through school, and so forth, they knew that something was unique, but odd, or I should say odd but unique.
Because odd things are usually.
Well, the odd thing is that I daydreamed a lot. I had a problem with focus on what everyone else was focusing. Somehow I felt like I already know what the answer is to this. Like history, science, everything but math. I was not too good at math.
Right. You know the answers, whether
that required a different type of writing.
Right.
But the whole point is like that I've had art as a medium all through my life.
Right.
When I was not only in school, but also when I was in the service, I worked as what they call a post artist. That means that they needed signage for different locations out in the field, like for training. When you take a soldier who's in training and you put them into, out into the field, there are certain points they needed a checkpoint sign.
Gotcha.
Because if you didn't read or look for those checkpoint signs, you may be walking into an area that is, it's a bit extreme, but it's like this is an observation area, or this is an area where artillery, live fire.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing.
You need to know where you go.
Or, this is the path, this is the roads that, and so I would draw the arrows and so on. And then there was the, how to decorate the place to make the guys feel like home.
Yeah. Because this place definitely feels like home, and I want to take a walk through it. So let's do it. I'm noticing the place that you have a lot of different paintings up. I see you got the green tags. What are the green tags for?
Well, the green tags are a curator is planning to do a solo show for me.
Okay.
At a gallery called Church Street Gallery on June 15th. And so they basically marked off the paintings that they wanted for the show, that they selected for.
That they selected. Oh, okay. And so you have paintings. So where are these paintings going to be? Where's this gallery going to be?
It's in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Chester, Pennsylvania. I noticed on your website that you have paintings in different countries, bro. What are you international? I don't know what's going on here.
Well, the artwork is international. I'm just the conductor. So there's an exhibition that's been ongoing now. It's a traveling exhibition, and it's showing now in France.
Nice.
Right now, it's in Lyon, France.
Okay.
And it's going to be heading back to the south of France, which is, let's see, It's in the south of France, like Pipion, those areas. So,
Okay.
but it started in Mabacres,
Right.
France.
Nice. So you're
It's ongoing. It's a traveling exhibition. It's ongoing right now. So it's been going for 3 years.
nice.
A
And
large body of work.
and your story has its own travels, and you've been on your own expedition during different phases. Talk to me about this wall.
Well, pretty much what you see out here is some people like to refer to this artwork as being abstraction. And I'm differing on titling it. I feel that this is expressionism, expressionistic work. That there is no story in particular that I'm telling. It's just emotions that arrive from a discovery of how each of these portals, as I would like to refer to them, display scenery or something, a tapestry. And it's all done in different, using different techniques. Sometimes you'll notice that there is extreme brush strokes, and there are others that have just splatters and layers of, palatable colors. And I say palatable meaning that there are, colors that I feel produce a particular emotion when you look at them. Because this is all, since we're about the visual thing here, all of these paintings all started off as black and whites, and they evolved into color.
Gotcha. And so when you say portals, as we go through here in the room, each portal is independent of itself to take the viewer. You talked earlier on about it's not just seeing it, but it's also feeling it. You want your paintings to give people a feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's what an expression is. Okay. Let's go with this piece here. This is the title of this piece is Dancing with Balance. Now, I know sometimes we look at these shapes, and I wasn't thinking abstract when I created it. I was thinking sharing on an emotional shapes that a justification, or let's just say the composition. I wanted it to be very subtle and very smooth.
Okay.
And some people have told me that this looks like something that is aquatic. You know what I mean? Like it's underwater.
Yeah, because
Does it feel? And I said, yeah, okay. So it's a fluid movement within these colors.
Yeah.
And that could have been a choice of direction, but the part of the nuance I believe that people get out of my artwork is there's a theme and there's a title that connects with that theme.
Okay. Because I was thinking aqua. I was thinking kind of fish in a way.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fish tank guy.
Okay.
So that kind of where it took me.
Okay. So it is true that if you are telling me that what you see is something that is the aquatic world, fish and so on, we don't know what's at the bottom of the ocean. You know, there's more science that can be evolve from the darkness. That place where it's like totally dark, where light can't get to. It's there. And so my exploration is not necessarily that I was imagining what was underwater, but just the movement, you know, just the movement of taking these shapes and putting them in, in position to where it shows a movement, but you know, it's more important about what you feel than what you see there.
Nice. And then we go over here.
Okay, this is titled "You Know You're Out of Sight." Now,
you know you're out of sight.
yeah. Now, what am I saying in that title is a discovery, because, like I said, every painting is not done in one setting. It is done over a period of time, and it's layers of different subjects or shapes and colors.
Sort of like life experiences.
Yeah. So in this one, I kind of felt like that could be a face. That could be James Brown. In motion.
I didn't get that until you. Wow. Yes. That's heavy.
I just wanted to do something really funky with it and just have fun, and that's why the title fit. You know you're out of sight.
You know you're out of sight. Okay. So we're gonna go around. Okay.
Okay, so first piece is these are all mixed media paintings, and they're on masonite, and then they're floated inside of like a cherry oak wood box frame. So the frame is not attached to the artwork. The artwork is actually on a back piece, and the frame is sealed to that back piece.
Wow.
And it's all one piece.
Wow.
The framing is done by Christopher Ltd. out of Philadelphia. He's like he is the top.
He's the top.
He's top. Well, I don't get much better. He frames everything for the museums.
Wow. And these are gonna go out onto the gallery because I see the green tags.
Yes.
So these are leaders.
These are selected for my one-man show. So the first piece is titled "As You Were." It's a military term that's used when they say "at ease." You know, they say,
as you were.
As you were.
As you were before I came.
That's right. Right. Be yourself. You understand? Right.
So, is that something that, because we talked earlier about active addiction, right? And the journeys that we went through with, with that struggle, right? And finding ourselves again as you were. As you were, who you are, just being you. When I heard that term, I was thinking military, but I also was thinking, Malik, be who you are. That was one of my spiritual experiences, was be who you are. You're not what you've become. This is just a phase.
Right.
As we were talking about over there, the different layers that make the ultimate portrait of the Malik in the Isles, and what it is that, like this moment, everything that led up to this moment is part of the canvas.
Exactly. That's
and even with the, you know, we had the sound problems earlier, right? So that helped us create a new moment, right? So you said to me that everybody sees and experiences the portraits differently, right? And you see where it took me. So is that the goal of an artist, to kind of, if it takes different people, different places, cool, because that's the expressionism, and that's why you don't want to be locked into just abstract, because it's more universal?
It's definitely more of a mandate that I gave myself, that each artist has a voice, and with that voice there is a language, and each artist, whether you are a performing artist or visual artist or whatever, the whole point is, even if you're just an admirer of art, there is something that speaks to you. And what my objective is to I'm not trying to appeal to any one source or group, or not even anyone but myself. I first start with the fact that my objective is to create something that formulates conversation. So the conversation is not necessarily between me and the art, it's between the art and the viewer. So that is what I think is what is attracting people to my style of work, which I call interpretism. It's because
Interpretism.
yes, when you see something, you are in your eyes is grabbing the information, but your mind is trying to equate what it is.
And the conversation is communication.
And the conversation,
Which led to a conversation with Malik. Right.
that works. That works.
Right.
So in my objectives as an artist, that is my goal, is to constantly create artwork that is thought-provoking, has an appeal to it, that, you know, okay, if it works with your furniture, that's cool too. I don't care. I mean, what matters.
I would like to put it over here, Al, because, you know, I'm gonna set these two vanities over there, and I think it fits well.
And at the end of the day, wherever you place this artwork, it will entice a person to figure out what it is that they see, and ultimately create a particular mood. And that's my deal. To me, is does this work have something there that evokes an emotion?
Does your artwork sometimes, before we go into it, does sometimes your artwork command to be placed in a certain place? Do you find that it's like you just can't put this particular piece anywhere because no, it could be put anywhere?
Well, that's
on a wall in front of.
It depends on the art.
Depends on the art.
Yeah, it depends on the art. I mean, the only reason why these three here are here together is because I did them around the same time, and they are part of a series. This series being what I call interpretism. Let's go to this middle piece. I'm rather anxious to speak on this one. This middle piece is titled Souls on Ice.
Souls on Ice.
All right. So, aside from the fact that some people may feel like it's like spirits that are walking through some sort of space. If you're looking for something figurative to come out of this, then it's not abstract. If you're looking at this from an abstract point, that's okay too. The whole point is that the artwork creates conversation. So when I showed this piece on in my social network, like on Facebook and so on, you should see how many different comments come from it. And that to me is stealing my objective.
Gotcha.
And my objective is to create artwork that creates conversation. Because now another person is saying, well, that's what I saw too, but I couldn't say it the way you said it. And this person says, but both of y'all are on some sort of acid because I saw this. You know what I mean? You know,
I got
and
you.
that's the goal. That's the goal for me.
It broadens the meaning as the conversations
Art
go.
should bring people together. Art should be, you know, if your art is not talking to people, then there's something you're not doing. And I don't mean wrong. There's something more that you need to do.
There's something more than gotcha. Like the art of the drum, like, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, this was like the first language in the motherland, right? Before they actually spoke words, you knew what this meant. Whether it was dinner time.
There's definitely a language there. There's definitely a language there. When I play this drum with other drummers, they know I know how to play the drum.
I feel a spirit around
Well,
this
this
thing.
is a drum I painted actually.
But and you paint.
Yeah, this is the title of this drum is called Open Conversation. If you see the faces around this drum, you know they're all part of my series, cross culture tribe, and so there are those faces there, and I painted them on this drum.
And see, and that's why when I think it was one of my children that said conversations with Malik, I knew that was it.
So they love it.
I knew that was gonna be the name of the show.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this and then go over with conversations with Malik. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to have conversations because I know conversations lead everywhere.
This piece is called Emotional Detector.
Oh, you went there.
Emotional Detector.
Wow. So I see you, we were talking about the red before. So I see we have the red in there. Is this yellow like a mustardy kind of?
Well, actually, it's olive, and olive is a color that it stems from green. As I told you before, most of my paintings start off just black and white. So when you add yellow to black, it becomes olive.
Gotcha.
And olive is a very cool color. And black is cold. It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. I mean, you know, it's not to say a bad thing about it.
Yeah.
It's just it's a
It
cold.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's ultra cool. Black is ultra cool.
Yeah, like you got on all black today. You're ultra cool.
I love it. That's right. But the other thing is, the accent is within this bright color.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm operating these shapes so that there is a composition that balances itself. There's not too much of the red, there's not too much of the black, there's not too much of the olive. But you know, you have some white space here, and that white space gives the, you know, allows the the painting to have areas of balance.
Nice. We'll move right along. Conversations with Malik. Me and you share similar history. We've had our trials and tribulations in life. We fell to bottoms.
Yeah.
In having those emotional, spiritual bottoms,
Yeah.
it also served as the as the gateway to a new life for us. And we've talked extensively off camera. We share similar backgrounds as far as that. I find that a lot of creative people, so people who I know who are very creative, wind up becoming like addicts and alcoholics, using drugs and alcohol,
Sure.
because they're actually so creative that they're looking for something to enhance, enhance themselves. But in enhancing, I created a habit by doing something over and over, and by doing something consistently, it becomes an addiction. And for me, I didn't realize I was an addict until I wanted to stop and realized I couldn't stop. And then it was like, oh shoot, I'm in trouble here. And then when I realized that I was in trouble, I went to seek help. But in letting go is tough out. Letting go of all of the things that I thought became me, that I used to survive. Letting go was tough. And initially I had to let go of a lot of things that I liked to do that were good so that I could get sober.
Right.
I had to simplify my life. Like business, I'm an entrepreneur. So in my case, I had to turn over a lot of the rights to my business to my wife.
Right.
And I had to take a step back as far as the day-to-day administrative stuff, which was tough because a lot of my identity was built into me running SHIT. Right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me I gotta let all of this stuff go to recreate my life and get sober? It was tough. And God gave me those things back, but it was after I was willing to embrace a life without the things I had become dependent on. And so we're standing here in front of this, and you were talking about this and your sobriety and how valuable this picture is. Talk to me about where you were. I mean, this is majestic, by the way. And I just admire you on so many different levels. I'm looking at this thing, I'm seeing so many different things. If I'm not wrong, this is African art.
No, it's not African.
It's not African?
It's only done by an African.
Okay, so before we get there, where are you at in life? You talked about this in your recovery. And you express your expressionism to me.
Okay, well, first, let me just say this, that this painting became itself out of my own conditions. This was one of those paintings that couldn't, it was something that I worked on over a period of time, and I did not know what it was going to be. I was trying to make something out of it. And through some countless efforts, it remained one of those unsolved paintings. The painting meaning, what I'm trying to depict to you is a painting of this size. It wasn't a portraiture. It wasn't a commission. It was not a direct. It was not directed on a point of what was going to come to the end. You know, so you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there were a lot of trials and errors. And the fact that I work in different layers means that, you know, I did some work today on it, and the next day I did a little bit more, and it was just an unsolved piece.
How long did it take you?
Well, I worked on it for about over a period of like maybe 6 months.
Wow.
Maybe 6 months. And it wasn't only this. I mean, like I would, you know, while I'm working on other pieces, it still stayed in the same spot, waiting for me to come back to it and solve it. So even though during that 6 month period, you know, I would, before I leave my studio, I would go, you know, I got to do something with this. But, you know, it's not that I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it is I want to do with it yet. You understand? And suddenly, piece by piece, started happening. I decided to use it as a practice board. Like these strokes here that are done with taking a stick and dipping it into a can and flicking it, and just flicking that black across there, kind of like a webbing effect. So this web becomes, you know, part of the subject matter for that area. And then there was there are points and places where there were large buildups of water, and I took a palette knife and just pulled them a little bit. And I would pull away from this piece and look at it again and decide, what other colors am I going to bring in here? And, you know, at that point in time where I was at that particular, I'll say, level, creating paintings that appear abstract but are also figurative. You know, it's like a certain balance that I need. You know, it's a little figurative, but it's also abstract.
Gotcha.
So balance in the composition is part of my mission. Right? Every artist is not. I mean, you know, I don't want any artist to get the notion that I think that I'm better than them or that they are better than me. But I know for myself that I'm something different about my approach to being creative is a little different from others. And I'll give you the equation. There are some who are composers in music. Those composers usually know a lot about structure and balance. They know how to, they know what the particular sounds are that they want, and they know when they want it to get quiet. And they know when they want to create emotion, you know, like you see the conductor, he's like this here, he's
Yes.
quiet.
Yes.
All right, so this is my reflection as an artist. I want to be the type of artist I am the type of artist who is a composer. And then as being a composer, you have to understand all the different methods.
That's nice.
So now we have the splatter with the stick, we have the palette with the knife, we have the drips for my what I call my cosmic energy.
Yeah.
And I already know how to work. Oh man, there's so many. And there's
so much power here.
Yeah. Well, this being,
Can I say he?
you can say he, but you know, it could be a she. It's a very transparent character. This
Is it something over the eyes? I see the headdress.
Yes.
Is that a headdress or
could be, yes.
could be, couldn't?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And so over time, what I pulled out from myself was that now I knew that I had a new total freedom. And that total freedom is of what type of art I want to create. And what that art is, I'm calling it interpretism.
And that's what.
And this is what this painting represents to me.
Wow.
A newfound freedom. And the only way that I was able to get to that point was I had to recognize that I work better as a sober artist. I work my best work as a sober artist.
Was there a time that you thought being high made you better?
Oh yeah, I mean that.
Like more creative, like you know, a couple pulls off a joint, and you're like, oh man.
That was then. But that was then, and now you know you graduate, or I graduated.
And that was this was your breakthrough. Like, no, I'm at my best sober.
This is what I'm saying.
Wow.
This painting is titled Spiritual Recovery, and why I call it spiritual is because it represents what my heart is saying, right? And why it's spiritual is because it came to me in a spiritual way. It didn't come to me through a book. It didn't come to me from another person. It came to me from myself, and that is why you feel all of this from the center, and that's why it's showing that it's coming from a higher source.
Whoa.
All of that energy.
There you have it. Can't be no more well said. Spiritual recovery. And I would like to say to anybody that's out there, find your place of transformation. That's true to you. Not what your imam is saying it needs to be. And imams are wonderful people. Not what your pastor is dictating through you through his wonderful oratory skills. And yes, we need wonderful oratory pastors. Find your place through your journey, because that's going to be the unveiling of your truth, of your recovery. Because to recover something, you're recovering what's already there. And what's already there in all of us is some greatness. Yo, now we're going to go to the unveiling of the painting that I've been waiting for, brother.
As the silent speaks is what it's called. Yes. All right. There's a story that Eckhart Tolle tells in the book about the guy who's that he runs into in the bathroom, and there was a point where before he run into the guy in the bathroom, there was a woman that he met on the street, and there was some sort of an exchange that she was very depressed, whatever, and he was telling her about life and everything, and you know, and he was like carrying in his mind how depressing the world is. You understand? And he goes into this bathroom and he meets a gentleman who is telling him the same thing that he just told that other woman. And like we're meant to meet. Nothing is by accident. Nothing by accident.
Nothing.
You know? So
that
being said, I want to unveil to you. This is a very dear piece to me, and it speaks a lot about my emotion using the right colors. So let's just pull this out.
Whoa. Whoa.
As the silence speaks.
The silence speaks. Because silence does speak. Silence.
Go someplace and be still. You learn a lot.
And so when I was looking through your catalog, this and what's on the other side of this jumped out at me. Okay. I'll be getting that later. Right now we're getting this, but this really, it jumped off of your website to me, and also as the silence
As the
speaks.
silence speak.
And I'm about prayer and meditation and being still, and I've found new callings. The universe, God, and the ancestors spoke to me about doing this show through silence, and the nudging was there. Malik, gotta do the show. Malik, gotta do the interviews.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. And I don't know why I'm supposed to do it, right? I just know that I'm supposed to do it.
Okay.
And so when I saw this, brother, this did something for me, and this is a vintage painting of yours, and you've embellished it and done some other things so that it's uniquely for Malik Lee.
Oh yes.
So talk to me, man.
Well, even the original, and if I could speak to how I created the original, I liquefied the acrylic paint to where it's thicker than milk, but thinner than, say, ketchup. So, in other words, I was able to pour it onto the canvas and shake the canvas around. The colors, all the colors are moved by emotion or movement.
Yes.
Okay, and then the excess was scraped off, and allowing the top layer of all of these colors swirling together to dry. I then took a blow dryer, and because this is canvas is made of a woven texture. Okay, so that means that there are air pockets, and when I send the heat through the back of the painting, it created what I call like a volcano, like this motion. It popped other colors on top of on top of each other.
Wow.
Okay, now that's the second part of the technique. Now the third part came where I knew what I had going on here, so I just scraped off what I didn't need to where it was smooth, and I redrew something there that resembles a face, and a face that doesn't necessarily express pain or too much exuberation. It's just an expression of numbness.
Yeah.
An expression that has, it has a serenity to it.
It does.
All right. And by adding these other colors that offer serenity, and it's not just the color; it's the colors that are placed together in the same variety. Even it allows the viewer to not feel threatened by what they see here.
There's so much. The longer I stare at it, it's like it's almost taking me in.
Well, I did a spot varnish on this side, on the center of the face, and then I used a matte varnish for the rest of this. So everything that's connected to this is now has a certain gloss, or but it produces a three-dimensional feel.
It does, and you are amazing. This is
Thank you.
an amazing creation. I'm honored to just be in your presence. Seriously,
You're welcome.
In the presence of greatness. I'm almost at like.
Hey. It's all good. It's all good. I have these moments myself. So there's a lot to be learned by those who understand. There's uh, there's there's a way of not necessarily that you're blocking all the noise that we have outside, but it's the noise inside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's where being still and being silent is that you're listening to yourself. And if you're listening to yourself, you're preoccupied with that. If you're really totally into just hearing how you feel on the inside, then everything on the outside kind of subsides. An interesting thing I did the other day was after 3 days of being in my studio totally by myself, I couldn't wait. We had a beautiful sunny day and I was so happy to be outside. And something just came over me to say to somebody that led their conversation with a complaint. It wasn't a complaint about me, it was a complaint about something else. Mm-hmm. And I told them, I said, you know what? Stop complaining. Just say to yourself, don't complain. Stop complaining. And somehow it gave me a lift that I didn't even think of, which was, all of the complaining that we do, like when you isolate something and you go, this is just a complaint. I need to like, once you identify it, you can now take it and put it outside of yourself and say, I don't need this.
How important is it?
Yeah, you understand? And so the objective behind finding yourself and finding in life things, it takes an initiative from the individual to pause and, hear yourself speak.
Hear yourself speak. Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen to yourself. Mm-hmm. Listen to what you're saying.
That's what meditation is, basically.
Yes, yes, it is. And this is just, in closing, man, this is like you talking about you wanted your expressions to have meaning. And I guess why I started crying is because this means something to me. Not only is it the painting of itself, but the journey of my life leading me right here in this moment, meeting you. I met you because I was just obedient to something I heard in the silence. Just telling me, Malik, do stories of people. And I'm not promising. See, so when the Spirit was telling me to do this, it wasn't saying, nah, I'm not promising you a bunch of rewards.
Right.
I'm promising you that you're going to experience stillness and happiness, and you're going to have some wonderful experiences. But I'm not saying it's going to be anything prestigious. I just want you to be obedient. Yeah. And when you said I had those moments, because me and you walk a similar journey, that it just like you're obedient, you're steadfast, obedient, and it might seem a little boring at times or whatever it is, and then you have a moment that says, oh, now I see why I do this.
Exactly.
And that was one of my moments that, like, now I see why I do what I do.
Like I was saying before, the difference between being an artist and being a conductor. A musician can play the music. A conductor directs that music. Right? So I'm not saying that to say that I'm better as an artist than anyone else. I'm truly seeking to become better at my art by understanding more about how to speak this language.
Do you find that people often have the responses to your artwork sort of similar to how I had?
Yes.
Like, because, brother,
It happens.
seriously, and this is really, and you put time, you were calling me, talking to me about this, sending me, and it means a lot that you took time to make sure that I had something. That means a lot to me, bro.
Hey,
Yo, man.
you got it, brother. You got it. You got it. So let's look at
Which I wanna steal it. This other one.
I get lucky.
Oh, goodness. Look at this in your day.
All right, now this is title of this piece is called "Seeking a New Direction." Can you get that?
You and this time. You.
Seeking a New Direction.
The titles are also part of the spiritual.
They're also part of the art.
So you're a spiritual painter. You're a spiritual artist.
I don't know. I'm still.
You don't want
I'm
to put,
still.
okay.
No. I don't
Okay.
want to say that. I just want to say. I like the feeling of being emerging because it means that there's still more to do. I don't want to ever feel that I'm at this level and I'm gonna stay at this level. You know, I don't have to say
As great
that.
as you are,
I just
you
want
still feel
just to
like
be
there's more?
there's gotta be.
Wow.
There's gotta be. You know, when you start to understand totally what it is and how it is that you come up with these concepts and you build on it, how long can you do that? Well, and how do you stay relevant? You know, staying relevant means that this has to change at some point. And when that happens, it's not necessarily going to be me that makes that decision. It's going to have to evolve through this art. Because if I told you that I knew exactly that this was going to be just like this at the end, then that's not really my art. That's a commission. If it's, and what happens in commissions is that you're projecting a vision that you're hoping that this commissioned person is going to be pleased with. I get that. Now, when I'm doing it for me, I don't want to know everything up front. I want to know that I'm just happy to know that I'm engaged in the process, because there's going to be something new that I learn from each one. Every single painting.
The process is going to reveal to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I like discovering better than always knowing. Discovery is much better. It's more gratifying.
So this has been another great episode of Conversations with Malik, here with Al Johnson, the artist in North Philly. I got my painting here. I'm so happy. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace and blessings.